in this program, I have a number which I initialize to 0, and then I have an if statement where I check if the number is less than 3. Because the number is 0 in the beginning, it's true, the number is less than 3, so the statements of the if will be executed. For example, this print will print the number, which is 0 in the beginning, and then I have an assignment where I take the value of number, I add 1, and I set it to number again. So when this print is executed, it prints number 1. Now I'm going to introduce another kind of statement. Instead of if, I'm going to write while. What is the difference? I'm going to execute it first, so you can see the output of the program. You can see number 0, 1, 2, and then 3. So what is my program doing? The number is initially 0. Then I get to the while statement, which works very similar to the if statement. It checks if the number is less than 3. This is true, so the statements are executed. It prints number 0 in the beginning, and then it adds 1 to the number. So I have number equals 1. The difference is that when I get to the end of the while statement, it goes back to the beginning and again checks the condition. Is number less than 3? Since it's true, because it's 1, it's going to print the number 1 and then add 1 again. And then again, I get to the end of the while statement and goes back to check the condition again. It's still true because number is 2, so it prints number 2, and then adds 1 again. Now I get again to the end of the while statement, it goes back again and checks the condition again. But this time number is not less than 3 because it's equal to 3. When the condition is false, the while statement is skipped and the program continues. So it prints the final number, which is 3. So the while statement is used to repeat some list of statements again and again until some condition is false or while the condition is true. You will see some specific structure when using the while statement. First, an initialization of some variable with some initial value, then the condition that is checking this variable for some condition, in this case less than 3, and then in the statements at the end you usually have an assignment changing this variable. Actually, it is very typical to add 1 or some specific amount to make the condition change and finally make it false. The structure of the while statement is exactly the same in JavaScript and in Kotlin, so I will just write the Python version. I will copy the code of the Java version and paste it in a Python program. I need to remove the type of the declaration in the variable, also remove the semicolon at the end of the statements. The print function is called print in Python, here and here. And now the interesting thing, the while statement. If you remember from the if statement, I don't need the parentheses. I have to write a colon character, and the curly braces, I need to remove them. Also, I need to click tab in the statements inside the while or write 4 spaces. And now, if I execute my program, I have the same error I had before, because in Python, I cannot join a string and a number. It doesn't let me. So if you remember, I have 2 options. One is using the str function to convert the number to string, and the other option is use string interpolation. I will use both forms just to show you. And now my program is doing exactly the same as in the Java version. I have prepared a program where I have another example with the while statement, so you will see how it works. I start with some money, 100, and every month I will get some interest, an interest of 0.5. This represents 5. And I start with months equal to 0, so I want to know what happens when 5 months pass. Let's see, every month, every iteration of the loop, I have to multiply money times interest, and I have the increment of this month. I'm printing the money, current money that I have, and the increment that I will get. Then I have to add the increment to the current money and set it to the money again to have the updated value. And at the end, I add 1 to the months. So finally, the months are 5 and the program ends. Let's see the output. I start with 100, then the increment is 5 the first month because this is 5%. So the next month I have 105. The next month the increment is a little bit bigger, so the money is more than 110. And so on until the 5th month I have 127. In this program you will also see the typical structure of a while statement. First you have some initialization, in this case the months, which is initialized to 0, then the condition, which checks months until it reaches 5, and then at the end of the while loop I have the increment, where I add 1 to the months. So the statements of the while loop will be executed 5 times, and finally I print the result. It is very typical to increment 1 at the end of the loop. You will see this a lot of times, but this is not always the case. Let's do a variation of this program so you will see another way of incrementing. Let's say that I want to reach some target money, let's say 200. So I want to know how many months I need to reach this target. I want to loop while my money is not equal or greater than target, while my money is less than target. So I want to know how many months I need to reach this target. And then finally I will print the money. Actually, I don't need the months variable. I'm not using it now, so I will remove it, because the condition is on the money. When the money reaches the target amount, the while loop will end and the program will print the final amount of money. Let's run it to see the output. As you can see, it prints a lot of times for every month, and finally the amount is 207. This is when the money is greater than target and the loop ends. As you can see, the latest statement of the loop is an increment. It's not adding 1, but it's adding something. This is very typical for the last statement in a loop. The important thing of this statement is that it's changing the value of money, and at some point money will be greater than target. And at that point, this condition will be false and the while loop will finish. It would be nice to know how many months I need to reach the final amount. So I will put the variable months back to count how many months I need to reach the target. I will also print the variable months at the end of the program to see how many months I need to reach the target. So I will run the program, and the output says that I need 15 months to reach the final amount. One thing to notice here is that although I'm incrementing months to count it, the important change is this one, because this update of money will eventually make the condition false. So I recommend to put this assignment at the end of the loop. In general, put at the end of the loop the assignment that is changing the variable that is checked in the condition. If you follow this rule, when you see a while statement, you see the condition, and you can go to the last statement of the while loop to check that it's updating the variable the proper way.